As you start making more and more brushes, it's going to become important to know how to organize them. So I've opened up a new document at just the default Photoshop size, and I'm going to start with a preset brush. I've just selected this bonus chunky charcoal brush, and I've selected a light green as my foreground, and I'll just start painting with that brush. But it paints a little bit dense. I'd like it to be a little bit lighter, so I'm going to make a change in the brush settings. I'm going to increase the spacing here. And now as I make my paint strokes, we can see that it's not as dense. I'm going to make a few other changes as well. I'm going to change the blend mode so that now whenever I paint multiple strokes, they will actually be multiplied with the ones that are already there. All right, once I've made these changes, I'm going to then save this brush. So on the brushes panel, I'm going to click on the plus icon, but if I do it right now, it's going to put it within this group. So I'm just going to click right down here, click on the plus icon, and I'll call this JK Green. It's going to capture the brush size, and I also want it to include that blend mode. So I'll include the tool settings as well as the foreground color and click OK. So now I have my 3 brushes, 2 of which I created in previous movies, and I want to put them all into my own group. So I'll click on the group icon at the bottom of the brushes panel. I'll call this JK Brushes, click OK, and now I can select any of these brushes and just drag and drop them into that group or that folder. I can also reorder them, so if I want one to come first, I'll just drag and drop to reposition it. Now we're looking at a lot of information about each one of these brushes. We can also look at the brush tip if we want to see that, or we can use the flyout menu to hide some of this information. So for example, you might not need to see the brush tip or the brush name. That might not be as important as actually seeing the brush stroke. So I'll toggle those off, but really it's up to you as to what you want to display. If you have a number of different groups that are open and you want to close them all at once, you can hold down the Command key on the Mac or the Control key on Windows and click on one of the disclosure triangles in order to collapse them all. If you Command click again, it would go ahead and open them all. All right, I'll Command click in order to close those. And then if you want to share presets with friends or coworkers or to use on another computer, you can select the group of brushes and then use the flyout menu in order to export those selected brushes. Notice also that there are more brushes online that you can download for free that don't load by default with Photoshop. You can access those by choosing Get More Brushes.